The top 10 cruise ships caught in big storms. Sailing on the open sea may be engrossing, but there can be a strong chance of risk with a cruising adventure. There are many unknowns waiting on the high seas excursion, from aquatic organisms to weather conditions and storms that may have an enormous effect on the journey. Before we go any further, please like and subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get new excellent updates only us can provide. Without turning this into a movie, here are the top 10 cruise ships caught in big storms that will either freak you out or make you enthralled. Number 10. The Royal Caribbean in a Raging Storm. Video clip of the Royal Caribbean Anthem of the Seas floating into a hurricane in February 2016 is once again making waves on social media. The video was shot by guitarist Stephen Burke while the vessel was making its way to Port Canaveral, Florida, facing 100 miles per hour winds and 30-foot waves. The ship was transporting more than 6,000 passengers when it was forced to turn around and head to New Jersey. The Royal Caribbean said at the time the hurricane was more intense than anticipated. Just after the event, the cruise line stated that it would improve its strategy to defer storms and allocate staff to its headquarters in Miami to offer further help to its captains at sea. Late that month, the Royal Caribbean postponed another Anthem of the Seas timetable as a consequence of a hurricane on the east coast of the United States. The corporation claimed that the move was taken with regard to passenger protection and convenience in mind after an earlier occurrence on February 7, 2016. Number 9. The Australian Pacific Sun. Frightening camera footage of a P&O cruise trapped in a heavy storms that left 42 passengers hurt were released online. The Australian Pacific Sun cruise liner was about 400 miles off the coast of New Zealand when massive waves struck the dock, leading it to move aggressively. And as the ship floats in the high seas, the crew and the visitors are sent spinning back and forth, attempting to grab something nailed down and loosing. The waves were so strong that they were as high as the fifth deck. The receptionists are seen sticking to their tables and devices until the more serious waves reach the liner. But soon, they and the tourists like ragdolls are sent careering around the room, powerless and out of reach. The Pacific Sun was on the reverse fixture of an 8-night sail to the Vanuatu Islands when the hurricane struck. Diners sat down for their evening meal shortly after dark. One characterized the scene as like participating in a disaster film. Tables, benches, and travelers are thrown from one foot to the other. Several individuals are killed by falling tables and benches as well as being slammed against columns. The ship was buffeted by a series of waves, making an effect on the passengers on board. This was an extremely unusual event. The accident was thoroughly examined and lessons learned were learned, such as the strengthening of the tables and other interiors on board. Number 8. Voyager cruise ship. The gastronomic moment a cruise ship is flipped 180 degrees on its side after entering heavy waters has gone viral on the internet. As waves are pounding the side of it, ships are rocking precariously back and forth. After a few seconds of video, the cruise ship switches full on its hands. It stays there and it's not certain if the ship is going to transform fully into the water. Fortunately, the ship is right and sinks down into the rough sea. The recording has gone viral for more than 102,000 likes. Commentators were stunned by the video and hurried to express their views. Several comments noted that this was the product of an event in 2005 and the video was filmed by emergency helicopters. Although most people would be concerned about the danger of water while on a cruise ship, there is also something else that poses more trouble for big liners. While possessing highly streamlined safety histories, luxury liners are not resistant to risk in open seas. Express.co.uk consulted the specialist at Napa, the app deployed on all cruise ships around the globe that has a primary duty for protection on board. Number 7. Unknown cruise ship battling the forces of nature. When a ship needs to battle the natural forces, it's nothing a seaman can do aside from holding a good heart and controlling the ship to the best of his ability. Here's a clip of one such ship stuck in a storm around Cape Good Hope, South Africa. The video reveals the vessel listing more than 30 degrees as the waves struggle to keep a stable track. At one point, waves nearly surround the 160-meter ship, splashing water over the ground. How many times have you experienced some poor conditions at sea? Let us know in the comments below. Number 6. Cruise ship battles high winds. A cruise ship was trapped fighting high winds as it attempted to tie itself to shore and reach the harbor in frightening video. MS Nord-Norge, a Hurtigruten expedition ship, was trying to dock at the port of Bodo, Norway, under severe weather conditions. Video clip depicts the ship tilting towards the port as it struggled to anchor itself on the sea. The Nord-Norge can be observed steadily gliding into the dock, while the land staff struggle to hold it steady. The stem reaches the pier first, and the remainder of the ship follows in a surprising footage. Two staff in high-vis jacket can be seen standing on the harbor below before rushing forward to attach the cord to the deck fitting. Passengers on the Nord-Norge can be seen squinting over the side of the ship in shock at a rather epic scene. He used the ship's anchor to help the ship down the dock, which shocked social media users who admired the captain's expertise. The video has been uploaded to YouTube by Farstad85 and has so far acquired over 578,000 views. Number 5. Cruise ship snapped in half amidst the raging storm. The ship snapped in two and sunk off the Turkish Black Sea coast on its way to Bulgaria. Now, as Marine Industry News notes, a dramatic video was posted showing the crew make an evacuation call as the bow splits. Reports differ. Some suggest 2 to 4 crew members died in the crash. Rescue personnel reportedly rescued at least 6 people and found the remains of 2 others. The Russian state agency responsible for sea and river vessels claims that the ship is owned by the Ukrainian corporation Arvin Shipping Ltd. According to Deha24, Arvin is a form of river sea freight vessel prone to extreme storms at sea. Since its structural strength is not adequate to be completely seaworthy, it was too long and small. Arvin did not stand against heavy winds and seas and either split in two or was overcome, anchored at Bartens Anchorage in an effort to escape from the hurricane. Number 4. Mother Nature versus Humanity. The video of the Royal New Zealand Navy's HMNZS Otago is not for the faint-hearted. The day the video was filmed, the ship reportedly experienced a hurricane packing 50 miles an hour of wind and 60 feet of swell. As if that wasn't bad enough, Otago's bow started to sink into a massive wave with a crest on it that appears to overshadow the car. The roaring tide is so huge that the bridge appears momentarily submerged. Otago is classified as an underwater surveillance vessel, smaller than a naval frigate or corvette. They are mostly used to monitor remote waters, defend fisheries, and search and rescue. Otago is 270 feet long and has 34 crew members. The deck gun in the foreground is the M242 Bushmaster, the same weapon seen on the M2 Bradley battle vehicle. Number 3. Expedition gone wrong. Anybody on a fun cruise to Antarctica? The Clelia II cruise ship captured the eye of the world when it was recorded by passengers on the National Geographic Explorer, tossing around by huge waves and heavy wind as it attempted to navigate its way back from Antarctica to Argentina. 88 American passengers were on board as they waddled back to port after a wave broke across the bridge of the ship and destroyed the glass, disrupting communications and triggering an electricity failure that limited power to one of the engines. Number 2. Death is inevitable. Death on the Louise Majesty cruise ship. The Greek-based Louise cruise ship was sailing east to Genoa, Italy when waves hit the ship and shattered windows in public spaces, killing 2 travelers and wounding 14 others. The Louise Majesty used to be the Norwegian Highness of the NCL, and before that, the Royal Highness owned by the Highness cruise ships from 1992 to 1997. The Royal Highness was deemed a big cruise ship 20 years earlier. A true disaster that might have been stopped if the officers on board had told the travelers to wait in their cabins. Number 1. Mother Nature takes it all. The series of Atlantic storms that have hit the nation seem to have rolled into each other at this point. Although looking at the damage on shore, it's possible to overlook that even though the wind was blowing its worst, some tough souls had little option but to be out in the middle of it. And the men and women on board the Atlantic had some very wrinkly seas to deal with. This footage taken off the southern coast of Ireland on February 1 and uploaded to YouTube reveals just what it was like to be on the high seas, literally in the teeth of Storm Brigade. As Corkman Steve Golden, who posted the video to Reddit, explains, the waves to be seen in the video are between 15 to 17 meters in height. The clip caught massive attention online, racking up nearly 400,000 YouTube views in 24 hours and making it to Reddit's front page. The unnamed ship from which the video was taken is 62 meters long and weighs 1,500 tons. According to Golden, it was knocked about like a rubber duck in a whirlpool in winds of more than 85 knots, around 100 miles per hour. So, now that you already know the top 10 cruise ships caught in big storms, what do you think? If you were one of their passengers, what would you do first? What's your opinion? Share your thoughts down below. If you're a true top 10 lover, stay tuned to our channel as the next top 10 video is starting. Don't forget to hit the like button below and click subscribe for more amazing videos.